On October 14, 2025, Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina dissolved the National Assembly in a surprise decree, concentrating power in his own hands. The move came just as lawmakers prepared to discuss his impeachment, effectively blocking any legal challenge to his rule. This preemptive strike has plunged the nation into its worst political crisis since 2009, with the capital, Antananarivo, gripped by uncertainty. Rajoelina's action follows weeks of mass protests led by the nation's youth, demanding change amid failing public services and government corruption. Instead of addressing grievances, the president dismantled the very institution meant to hold him accountable, deepening the divide between government and people. Opposition leaders have condemned the move as unconstitutional, while legal experts debate its legitimacy. With parliament silenced, the opposition and public are searching for new ways to challenge a president who now stands increasingly alone. The stage is set for a dangerous confrontation, as institutional checks vanish and power struggles threaten to spill into the streets. At the heart of Madagascar's crisis is a youth-led protest movement fueled by daily hardships, chronic water and electricity shortages, deep poverty, and rampant corruption. Inspired by global Gen Z uprisings, young activists have organized mass demonstrations, using social media to outmaneuver state-controlled media and coordinate their actions. Their demands are simple: end corruption and provide basic services. The sight of youth marching for clean water while officials live in luxury has struck a chord with millions. What began as a protest against systemic failure has become a direct challenge to President Rajoelina, whom they blame for the country's decline. Chants in the streets now call for his resignation, transforming the movement into a showdown over the legitimacy of the head of state. The stakes have never been higher, as a generation demands real change. The crisis escalated when CAPSAT, an elite military unit tasked with presidential security, defected and sided with the protesters, demanding Rajoelina's resignation. CAPSAT's commanders claim control over all armed forces, appointing new military and police leaders and creating a parallel power structure. Soldiers standing with protesters turned the standoff into an apparent coup, shaking the foundations of state authority. For demonstrators, the military's support was a sign of hope. For others, it raised on fears of a new era of instability and military rule. The situation in Antananarivo remains tense, with the president stripped of his armed protection and the military's control holding, at least for now. The question: will the rest of the armed forces follow, and can the country avoid descending into chaos? Madagascar teeters on the edge, its future uncertain. With his security detail gone, President Rajoelina fled Madagascar, posting a video from an undisclosed location calling for dialogue and insisting on constitutional order. His appeals ring hollow for many, given his own rise to power in 2009 through a military-backed coup and a history of disputed elections. Rajoelina's legitimacy has long been questioned, especially after a 2023 re-election marred by boycotts and low turnout. Now, his absence has left a leadership vacuum at a critical moment. The president's refusal to step down voluntarily has only fueled the opposition's resolve. As the nation waits, the risk of further conflict grows. The call for calm is overshadowed by memories of past power grabs and broken promises. For ordinary Malagasy, the political crisis is a daily hardship, worsening shortages, lost jobs, and growing uncertainty. Instability scares off investment and aid, deepening poverty for a nation already among the world's poorest. The military's intervention, while welcomed by some, risks factional conflict and prolonged rule by force. Hopes for swift change could give way to suspended civil liberties and dashed democratic dreams. 30 million lives hang in the balance, as the youth-led movement's vision for justice and prosperity faces daunting obstacles. The immediate challenge: avoid violence and restore order. The long-term challenge: build institutions that can finally tackle poverty and corruption. Madagascar's future will be shaped by what happens next: hope or more suffering.